Last Thursday, China unveiled its new leadership team. So I'm sure you guys have seen the lineup. You know who they are. I won't go into it. There are obviously a lot of issues, a lot of points to discuss about this new team. But I'm just going to make 2 points here. We can pick up the rest at the dialogue. First, a little bit about the background of this new team. They belong to what has been called the lost generation of China because they grew up during the Cultural Revolution from 1966 to 1976. 10 years of chaos when these guys were just in their teens. Xi Jinping was only 13 years old when the Cultural Revolution started. So they witnessed unparalleled chaos, violence, turmoil on a daily basis. How violent was it? Till today, we still do not know the casualty of Cultural Revolution. But just 2 weeks ago, an eyewitness gave a talk in Beijing. And he said, in just the first week of the Cultural Revolution, 4 of his colleagues committed suicide. That's just first week in one department of a government ministry. So you can imagine that spread this out across the country, across 10 years, we're talking about millions, possibly tens of millions. So what this new bunch of leaders have seen growing up is this on a daily basis. You may ask, how is this different from the earlier generation of Mao Zedong, of Deng Xiaoping? They went through some violent times too. The Civil War, the Japanese occupation, but they were fighting battles. There were soldiers, there were enemies, clear lines, war zones. What was different about the Cultural Revolution is no rules, lawlessness, no battle zones. Your friend today could be your enemy tomorrow, and vice versa. So total chaos. And that was what this bunch of young kids grew up with. They inflicted a lot of pain on others too because they were the raid guards, the secondary school raid guards, among the most violent, most fervent believer of Mao. But of course, a lot of them suffered. They were jailed, they were tortured. I think Xi Jinping was jailed for a good number of years, perhaps 4 years or so. So, went through a lot of pain. What does that mean for them? When they look at China, what they have been through is that when you have no law, when there's no rules, the whole place goes crazy. Someone described the Cultural Revolution of 10 years in China as an entire country that has gone mad. That's what they have gone through. And hence, going forward, I don't think that they would like to open things up too much, allowing people to do just what they wish, because what they have seen in their early years is really traumatic. So you hear a lot of talk about political reforms, and I believe they will take some steps in that direction. But it's going to be very modest, very gradual, nothing too shocking, because they cannot go through that ever again. Which brings us to the second point, and I would like to look at Xi Jinping, the man himself. We know him as a princeling. He was the son of a hero. So the princeling, in general, have greater confidence about their role in the Communist Party, their role in China. There's this sense of entitlement that this country, this party belongs to us. We are the rightful owners. We are the princelings of this dynasty, if you would, called Communist Party, right? And he has a lot more confidence. You can kind of tell. I think it helps that his wife is quite hot too, compared to his predecessor. I mean, you all know his wife is a very famous singer, so she's not bad. Yeah. And judging by the short speech he gave last Thursday, when together with his new team, he was very relaxed. The body language, he was almost leaning on the lectern. I can't do a very good impression because he's a lot fatter than me and bigger as well. But if you have been following Chinese politics for 10 years, you have Hu Jintao, who is really stiff, robotic even. And this did not go unnoticed by the Chinese netizen. And they were talking about it online, how this new boss of the Communist Party is more relaxed, more like one of us, in fact, And even the content of his speech was a lot more, less of the slogans, the catchphrases that Hu Jintao loved to use and pepper his speech with all these almost meaningless slogans. So a netizen actually said that Xi Jinping said more 人话 human language, suggesting that what Hu Jintao said before was some kind of alien tongue, something like that, But having said that, while he may be more confident, I don't think Xi Jinping is a leader that is going to take China to extremes one way or the other. His career at the coastal provinces has always been rather conservative, and he's never one to go for big bang like what we saw with Bo Xilai. So he is a guy who is conservative, but with the sense of entitlement. This is my time. I'm going to do something about it. And some of you may have noticed some reports that we wrote about a CCTV documentary that will be launched in March next year. And it's a 10-part documentary on Singapore, learning about Singapore's governance, even the opposition parties. We understand that this documentary was endorsed, approved by Xi Jinping himself. And so that gives me a cause for optimism, that I believe that he indeed wants to do something, perhaps in the direction of the Singapore model. The question is, can he do it? Will he be allowed to do it within this very big party called the CCP with 82 million members? Those are the big questions. We can talk about it more during dialogue. Thank you.